I've gotten my Dear John letter from AutoDesk for my Fusion 360 license, and I need your help. Let's jump into it. Welcome to this episode of Bench Talk by DIY3DTech.com. In this episode, I want to talk about this Dear John letter that I received from AutoDesk for my Fusion 360 license. To start out the story, many of you might recall, a couple years back, I got a lot of feedback from you guys, my viewers, saying, hey, Mr. DIY3DTech.com, it's time to jump on the Fusion 360 bandwagon. You can do a lot of this stuff easier. They're giving out free licenses, yada, yada, yada. So with a little bit of trepidation, I jumped on board because at that time even I knew this day was coming. Now, in full disclosure, it's taken a little bit longer to come than I had anticipated it, but it is here. So as you can see on the screen, I've gotten a bit of a Dear John letter thanking me for my submission for my Fusion 360 for Startup subscription request. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this in a second, but so one morning I woke up, started Fusion 360, and it popped up this thing and said, hey, we're changing our licensing. Of course, they put a positive spin on it. We're unifying our licensing for our customers, etc., to get everybody excited. And again, I could see the handwriting on the wall. It was time to increase revenues, and this is what we were going to do. And in the olden times, we'd call this the Microsoft crack model. In other words, you get somebody, hooked on using your software, and then again, we take it from free to pay, and, boom, Bob's your uncle. So anyways, I, humored Autodesk. I filled out the application, I sent it in, and you waited my time because it said here in 10 business days, I would get a response. Well, I got a response. And here is the response. It said, we appreciate you taking your time to apply for the Fusion 360 for Startup free software grant. At this point, your grant has not been approved. Now, the interesting thing here is I actually even talked to an Autodesk representative. An Autodesk representative called me on the phone and asked me questions about my usage. Now, at the same time, they were trying to sell me a license as they walked through this. But at the end of the conversation, the gentleman, who was very polite, very cordial, indicated he was going to recommend that they continue my free license because of what I was doing. Long story short, the only thing that I use Fusion 360 for really is my YouTube channels, in designing parts for my YouTube channels for you guys, showing you guys how to do different things. I don't use it in my day-to-day work, etc. And this is what I explained to the gentleman on the phone, is I have really no justification to pay this money because, again, I'm just using it to actually promote their product. Now, one of the pieces, I've made some comments on a few other websites, and I get all these mails, hey, it's still free, it's blah, blah, blah. And the thing I got to share with you guys, no, it's not. Because if you look at the bottom here, it says, if you need an alternate solution, here are immediate actions you can take. Pay $495 a year. Now, full disclosure, they offered me, what seems to be a pretty good deal of $310. And this is, in a bit, I'm going to get to the question I have for you guys, but I'm not quite there yet. The other piece is activate a free, I'll spit that out there, Fusion 360 for personal use subscription. Fusion 360 is free for personal, non-commercial use for those who are generating less than 1K USD in revenue. Now, I found this interesting because I didn't fit under this either, which is, but this is the confusing part, because it says is free for personal, non-commercial. So if you are non-commercial, how are you generating any money at all? This is a bit of a catch-22, because when I talked to the gentleman, he clearly indicated that I would fit under the startup. Now, I'm going to go back up here to who should apply for the startup. Businesses with 10 or fewer employees. Tick, that's me. It's just me, Mr. DIY3DTech.com. Businesses, including parent entities generating less than 100K. Well, that's definitely me, because I generate far less than 100K. And, in all honesty, the only thing I really make out of this is some affiliate revenue and advertising from YouTube, which isn't, crap at the end of the day. I do this because I enjoy doing it. And I explained that to this gentleman on the phone. I just basically do this as a hobby. Now, I think that's what maybe got me in trouble a little bit. I'm going to talk about that in a second. The next one is businesses designing or manufacturing their own new and innovative products. Now, do I generate my own newer innovative products? Yes, I generate innovative products for you guys. I put them out on Thingiverse. Is it my intent to productize and sell these? No, because very clearly it comes up in the next sentence of this line, not intended for persons or businesses doing contract work for clients or for hobby businesses. Now I want to break that one down, because the gentleman from AutoDesk stated this is where they were really running into their problems, because a lot of people were using the free license of Fusion 360 to do contract work for clients. Okay, I got that, because that you're sort of gaming the system a little bit. So when he shared that with me, I said, I'm clearly not doing that. I mean, I'm just, doing videos with this and putting stuff out on Thingiverse. But now I find this very interesting, not for hobby businesses. And I have to say, that's probably what my business is. Yeah, I make a few bucks, but it is a hobby business. It's not my main focus. And I'm gonna circle back around to that once we finish this. Then we go to businesses which are venture-backed, angel-backed, or bootstrap startups. Well, I guess you could say I'm a bootstrap startup because I have no angel backing and no VCs are behind me. Businesses with a valid website or transacting on a social media or digital platform. Yepper, I've got a bunch of websites. I'm on social media, Instagram, YouTube, so yeah, I fulfill that category too. Businesses willing to share their story with Autodesk Fusion 360 community. Absolutely, that's the main goal of what I'm doing, sharing with you guys. Here I am sharing my story with you guys. But again, if I circle back around, as I mentioned, to the hobby business, I think, again, this is where the problem is. If you read through this, they clearly want to catalyze startups who are going to eventually pay. I will, under this circumstance, never reach 100,000 to eventually pay. Well, unless I get a whole lot more subscribers and a whole lot more revenue, then I'd definitely be happy. If Autodesk can send me enough viewers, subscribers, and everything to get up to 100,000 in ad rev and affiliate income, hey, I'm happy to pay them $495. I'll give them $1,000 actually. But I don't think that's going to happen. And so here is where I think the problem is. And again, to those folks out there who keep saying, well, the hobbyist license and everything is still valid, it's not, because if I go back down to this free Fusion 360, if you're a student, yeah, I get it. It fits, but how can you be generating 100K? I mean, it's less than 100K or any money at all, and still say you're non-commercial? This is very confusing and basically non-functional. So if you have a YouTube channel, you're making any type of ad revenue or affiliate income from it, you're commercial and you're less than 100K, but you violate the non-commercial part. So anyways, I just kind of wanted to share this with you, because to me this was really, really odd, because again, this is the one thing that I really liked about Autodesk and Fusion 360 is you really look at, they put a very powerful tool in the hands of a lot of people. But before I ramble too much on that, where I want to kind of go with this is number one, I'm not really beating on Autodesk. I knew this day was coming. Hey, they put a lot of money in it. Fusion 360 is a great product. They should get paid for it. I have issues with a little bit of the licensing nomenclature here. I also have issues a little bit with the pricing structure, but so be it. It's their product. They get to pick. However, with that, one of the things I want to look at the value proposition of Autodesk 360 to me, because again, I do this as basically a hobby business in violation, or not in alignment, I won't say violation, but not in alignment with their stipulations. But even the $310, that's $310. That's many months of YouTube ad revenue, folks. it takes away from something else I can buy or do for the channel. So when I begin to look at this, is sticking with Fusion 360 a good idea? And that's where you guys come in. I started using Fusion 360 because of you guys, so I really want to get your feedback out there, what you guys want to see. Do you want to see me stay with Fusion 360, pay the $310 and stick with it? Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about why I should or shouldn't do that from a personal channel perspective in a second, but 90% of this is going to fall to you guys, to the feedback I get to this from this video as to what I should do. Are there other packages out there I should explore, maybe even pay for it? I mean, that's fine if it's something around $300 is somewhat affordable in the scope of the hobby business. But again, it's going to take away from something else. And this is sort of the point, because my initial plan was, again, to stay with Fusion 360 for my STL modeling, or my three-dimensional modeling, but I was going to go and take that money and spend it on MeshCam, because one of the pieces when I do a design for 3D printing, it's rather simple. You export the STL, send it to a slicer, and print it. Now I also do CNC and laser cutting, and there is a very powerful, and for $310, I gotta say, it's a crazy cheap price to get a cam package. The only problem with the Fusion 360 cam package is it is crazy complex, and it also, for basically what you get, is primarily a 2.5D package. In other words, you get to cut flat stuff. One of the things I was very interested in doing with this channel is moving into cutting three-dimensional objects. Winston Moy has done a couple of very interesting things on his channel about cutting three-dimensional objects using MeshCam, and that seems like a really good application to do that. I was also thinking for the CNC, moving into a fourth axis. I have a fourth axis for it. Programming it without the proper software is simply a nightmare. So again, this is where I was thinking about putting this. So if I put this money on Fusion 360, then it takes away from that money I have to spend on MeshCam. So again, this is why I'm asking you guys, would you like to see MeshCam, me working with MeshCam over Fusion 360? Do you think getting in more of the cam stuff of Fusion 360 is where I should go with this channel? Again, I do this channel for the viewers out there. Again, part of it is I want to do things which are interesting to me, but all of these things are within the scope of being interesting to me. So again, I'd like your feedback. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, which direction I should go. Should I pay the $310 for Fusion? Should I find another package? I've used FreeCAD. I don't have too big of an issue with FreeCAD. It's okay. That's probably saying the best I can say about it. It's okay. It's a freeware. It's community supported. So it's got its a little bit of issues. It is based upon OpenSCAD, and I love OpenSCAD, so that's a good thing. But I have to say Fusion 360 still way outranks it as far as performance, obviously, because you're talking commercial versus freeware package. So are there other things I haven't explored that maybe I should? Again, I've already asked the question, but I just kind of want to close this video out with. Let me know your feedback below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give this a thumbs up if you liked it, and hey, I'll see you in the comments below. Cheers.
Please click like below and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date on all of our